Good morning and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am JM. This is a show where we hang out, we talk about games, board games, role-playing games, mainly role-playing games, as we talk about things that are beautiful, things that are wonderful, things that inspire us to be better game masters, better players, better humans. And today, we're going to do our first exploration into Ker Nethalas. I am a little nervous because it's my first time doing this on stream, and I have the writer of Ker Nethalas in the chat. Hello to everyone, to John Doom, to Padre, to James, to Black Oath Entertainment, and Ross. It is good to see all of you. So we're going to play through some of Ker Nethalas. We'll probably do 2 or 3 rooms just to kind of see how it goes. And the goal will be is every Thursday we're going to just keep exploring this area and play through a domain or 2 of our solo role-playing games, so you guys can see how great Ker Nethalas Into the Midnight Throne is, and go check out Gravebound Edition or get your copies over at DriveThruRPG. Yeah, that's basically how it's going to work, John. I'm glad you picked up exactly how that was worded. I did just right before the stream, I got a big box in from Pinnacle. And so I'm looking at, I got my Europa books in, I got Abominable Northwest and Carnage on the Cascades and Mad World. So I'll be looking forward to doing some reviews of those going on in the future. And if you are at all interested, tonight on the Savage Universe, I will be on the Pinnacle channels interviewing DM or GM James, possibly with some of his cast, as we're going to talk about Altered Morality and all the other great shows that Knights of the Smith Dinner Table does as they concern Savage Worlds. So I wanted to set this up so that it was a little bit cooler than just me sitting here rolling dice, looking at my notes, looking up, asking questions, looking at my notes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play through this on Foundry, streaming Foundry, so that you guys can kind of see what's going on. So this is our stage. This is Fistopher Walken right there in all of his tiny glory. And so what's interesting about Gravebound is it has this, you have rules for making your own domain as you're exploring, but it's recommended for the first time you go Stepping into Darkness, and Stepping into Darkness is this pre-mapped out area. Some of the rooms have very clear things that are there. Some of the rooms do not. So you'll have to bear with me as I jump around to different files and different pages of the PDF. But we're going to go through this, and whenever I'm faced with a choice, I will be asking you guys what to do. So unlike a normal game of Ker Nethalas, if you're doing Stepping into the Darkness, you arrive naked and screaming into the Undercity. And we actually start off with some damage already. So I'm going to take a D6. Oh, no. All right, so my toughness is already down by 6. I have suffered a D4 sanity loss. All right, so I'm a little bit saner. And I have 1 exhaustion. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is you have to determine the domain's overseer. And so what we're going to do is we're going to roll a couple of dice and see how this works. All mistakes are mine. Yeah, this is definitely not... although the maps were done in Arkenforge, and I think that if I were to do a live play where I'm like rolling and building the map as I go, I would just do it in Arkenforge and put Arkenforge on the screen over here. All right, so my Overseer's influence is, so this affects all monsters in the domain until that monster is, or that Overseer is killed. And the Overseer's influence is piercing. That's not good. All creatures gain penetrating 1. And that stacks with any other penetrating that they may have. All right, then we need to see who our overseer is. And that is, I had all of this bookmarked. All right. Give me a second as I pull this up. Overseers 179. So the Overseer is the boss monster of the. Wow, Padre. Overseers are the boss. If you've been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, they kind of act as the neighborhood or borough boss of this dungeon area. And with a D10, we have established that our Overseer is the Venom Cloud Siren. And I'm not gonna look at that until I discover her location. So, upon entering, oh no, Black Oath is saying that sucks for my first. Hey, if we die, we just build new characters and try again. All right, so the room that we're starting in, we're going to do a room description, which is a D100 roll. There's my poor guy just sitting in the darkness. 78. So as I come to Fistopher Walken, it is a dark and foreboding courtyard where twisted shadows play tricks on my mind. As I stand up and look around the room, wiping blood and crusted dust from my form, as we're actually in this. You would totally skip the boss unless I get real lucky with loot. Hey, we're going to play this game the way you intended, sir. And that may mean that I just skip it because you're giving me good advice. All right, so this is where I've opened up. My nightmare begins here. As I look around, it doesn't appear to be anything of value, just rotted flesh and vermin. I do find a half-spent torch that will last me 10 rooms. So I'm going to put my torch counter up. And the question now is, chat, do we head west or do we head south? Oh, hi, Mark. John Doom can have a Benny for that one. Are we heading west or are we heading south? South? South it is. All right. So now we can roll a little corridor to kind of see what we're exploring here. Now, if this map wasn't already built, you would be rolling randomly to see what the how many rooms are in exits out of here. What's the shape of the room, the corridor. But let's take a look here. Mapping domains. My corridor description, as I head down the stairs, the light from my torch flickering off the walls. The air here is stale, and the sounds of rats scurrying can be heard in the distance. And then Ross says to head west from here. So when we get here, we can go north or we can go south, but they're both north, they're both west. Are we going northwest, Ross, or southwest? I do seem to see a door here to the south. All right, north it is. Coming into this room. So this is a very procedural driven game, which is something that I like about it, because it basically, this is what tells us, hey, here's what's replicating the exploration and the search of the unknown that generally a GM would be handling. All right, so when we get to a new room, I wrote all this out. We begin with the room description. So as I come stepping into this room, '89. Moving through the corridors, I come into a room that was once a treasure vault filled with riches, but has long since been ransacked. Dun, dun, dun. And the next thing that we do is we make a lair check, which is a D10. So Ker Nethalas uses something called a usage die. I first encountered the usage die in Black Sword Hack. And essentially the way it works is the die, you have a die type of some sort, and it works like a timer. Every time you go to use it, whether it's a torch or food or supplies, or in this case, the lair die, you roll it, and on a 1 or a 2, it drops to the next die type. And so what's going on with the lair die is we're looking to see if we found the the siren's lair. So after doing that, the next thing we do is we roll our tension die. So the tension die is another one of these counters. It starts at a D8. And the tension die is sort of this it gets worse die. As we move through the maze and crypts and tunnels of the Midnight Throne, sooner or later, oh, right, because Stepping into Darkness already has the lair mapped out. I'm going to ignore that. Thank you, Black Oath. The tension die is how close is it to getting worse? And so when you roll the tension die, when the tension die drops down, you get to roll on this great growing darkness table, and then you reset the tension die. So the tension die starts at a D8. Let's see if that thing drops. Please don't drop. Please. Damn it. Okay. My tension die has gone down to a D6, which is, yeah, I'm really looking at curling up here in the fetal position. All right. And now I roll to see if there is a combat in this room. Now, again, some of these rooms are scripted. They have what's going on here. Hey, there's no combat encounter. Hey, there is. We've gone down a path that is to a room that has no safety nets on it. So thanks to everyone who chose south. We're going to roll the D20. And in a room on a 10 or higher, we have a combat encounter. I did not get a combat encounter, but instead we're going to roll on the events table. And what's nice is I'm actually like writing all of this down. And so as you're going through, you're building kind of the lore. And yeah, I do have weapons, Black Oath. I'm a brawler. My fists are like fists that hit harder because I have stone fists. And screen moved for you, Mark. Oh, there we go. So with no combat encounter, we roll on the events table. What cool things do I find here? 59. And you want to be keeping track of this as you're going through, because you may have to backtrack. And the other thing is, like, moving through here, you're going to make a really, really cool dungeon that you could possibly use as inspiration for tormenting your characters with. All right, 59. What event happens here? A quiet, seemingly out of place fountain still pours water into a stone vase at the corner of the room. You sit for a few minutes and take a moment to refresh yourself. I lose my 1 point of exhaustion. Well, that was awesome. And then, yes. All right, so here's how this works. I can make a scavenging check once per room, which I'm going to do now. because Fistopher Walken is good at two things: punching people and scavenging. So I have to pass a scavenging check, and if I do, I get to roll on the scavenging table. So I'm going to pull up my old book just so that I have access to some of this a little bit easier. What was our other? We had Brawler. Do you guys remember what our other? It gave me the Mastery Survivor. Oh, I'm a survivor. There we go. Okay. So I have advantage on all scavenge rolls, and my scavenging here is currently a 10. Why did we do that, guys? Why did we only give me a 10? I blame Chris Valentine. All right. So I'm going to roll my D100, and with advantage, it means I can essentially flip it to the best possible result. So in this case, this would be a 28, which sadly is not enough to succeed here. Wait a second. That is a good point. Let me double check. I know DM James's birthday is here soon. Tomorrow is your birthday. Happy birthday to Knights of the Smith dinner table here. All right, so I tried to scavenge. I failed, but you can look for containers. You can make a deep search once per room to see if there's any hidden compartments or containers. To do so, I must immediately make a tension die check and accrue 2 exhaustion. Well, I just cleared my exhaustion, so I'm going to do that. Make my tension die roll, which is now a D6. Sweet, it does not go down. And then, using the standard rules for locks and traps as explained on the page, let's see here. Once open, locks and traps. When you encounter a door or container, it may be locked. This process is divided into 2 phases. Investigation. Is it trapped? Right, so we're going to use our random difficulty to see how difficult this is. Effortless. So I get plus 20 to my perception roll, and my perception is 50, so I need a 70 or less. And actually, I have advantage on this roll, so that counts as a 19. So if you pass your perception check, you must roll a D10. 7 plus means it's trapped. So I found this container in here. It is not trapped. And then we'll see if it's locked. Ooh, but it is locked. All right. If it's locked, I can attempt a thievery check or brute force it with an athletics check. My athletics is way higher. We're going to try and bash it open. A 7 out of 40 is a success. All right, if you succeed, you force it open, and now I get to roll on the container loot table. What I like about this is it's a skill roll to find something to scavenge, which is very easy to do. But you have this resource of exhaustion, and that thing is relentless as we move through, kind of dropping off. Finding this first fountain room has been was actually quite beneficial to me. All right, let's roll our D20 and see what our guy finds. With a 5, ooh, I find a lore book. Let's see what lore book I found. Oh well, not very useful. All right, but it's at I found the lore book of the mysteries of death. Kalatha, the sovereign of shadows, is revered as the eternal orchestrator of the cosmic cycle, her skeletal hand guiding souls from the mortal realm to the veiled mysteries beyond. The Temple of Ebon Right stands as a monument to her dominion, its towering spires piercing the heavens as a firm declaration of our reverence. There, and then at this point, Fistopher gets a little bored and puts his book back in his backpack. And now we're going to move on. Do we go north? Do we go west? Or do we go south? We'll do one more room and see what happens here. North, north. All right. North it is. Thanks, guys. I appreciate going north. Again, because I've seen the map. Which is why I'm not saying anything. All right. Moving north, we come into this small room. And again, we start with a room description. This room appears to be some sort of ancient guard room, a tattered banner still hanging from one of the walls. Several armor and weapon racks lie collapsed and rotted near the walls, but among the rusty pieces of weaponry, I find something I can use. And there's no event in this room, there's no combat encounter in this room, but I recover a dagger, a club, a spear, and a piece of random armor. All right, let's see where my random armor comes in. 8. I found a helmet. All right. So putting the helmet on my head, we'll do one more room because that was easy. Let's see what kind of helmet it is. It is a... It is a medium helmet. Which, just so you guys know, provides me with two protection, but a -10 to perception. God darn it. All right, I'm going to take it. And I have a dagger, a club, and a spear. Scavenge in this. Yeah. Right there with you, buddy. All right, Ross. Wish me luck. Flip to good numbers here. 26 is still too high for me to scavenge anything. I think I'm going to wait on looking for another container. One last room. Are we going to go north? This room seems to have exits. Stairs to the southwest, hallway to the northeast, and a door to the north. Mark says north. All right, let's do this. Our final room of the day. North. Awesome. Okay, so let's do some locked door stuff, and then we will see what's in our next room. All right, page 117 for the doors. All right, here comes our investigation. Is it trapped? Difficulty roll. to see how difficult this check is. A 1, I can live with that. That is child's play. So I go from my perception is 50. Child's play makes it 80. So I have a 70% chance of detecting if the door is trapped. All right. I made the check. So on a 7 or higher, it's trapped. Oh, no. Roll on the traps table to see what the trap is. A 7. All right. How to deal with it in the resolution phase. It is trapped. Let's see if it's locked. It is not locked. All right, resolution phase. Do I want to disarm the trap? I know that the trap is a noxious gas trap. It'll fill the chamber. All creatures must pass an endurance check or immediately receive 2d4 poison damage. My choices are disarm it, which is a thievery check, which is 20. That's my only option. Oh, I forgot to roll my tension die. Oh. All right, we're fine. Do you think they have a trap guy that they just call and point to the doors they want traps on, like a plumbing? Yeah, you just put the little like chalk mark. I should have looked for the chalk mark. All right, random difficulty to see how difficult this trap is to unlock. Oh no, it is demanding. I have a 10% chance. We're gonna try it. What's the point of playing this game if I don't take some damage and die? Oh no. Well, that is a critical failure. So, Black Oath, what happens here? I'm assuming your name is Alex. Hopefully that's correct. Alex, what happens here on a critical failure with an attempt to bypass the we might be dead. I know I take 2d4. 2d4 poison damage as this goes off. 8 poison damage, and I think if it's in combat, it doubles the damage that I take. Did I just take 16 points of poison damage? I'm going to add the 16 here. But the door trap triggered. Oh, hold on. Trap is triggered. You fail your perception check interacting with the trap. It triggers. Following still failure on thievery check. If the trap is triggered after a successful perception roll, make a skill check with plus 20 due to my awareness. And this is an athletics to aware, or to negate. So my athletics is now 60. Consequences are on page 73. Going to page 73. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's a thievery tap. Bungled attempt. The character made a critical error during their thievery attempt that leads to a complication. They accidentally have triggered the trap they somehow missed. So I save against the first one. Oh, it's the pool, right? You only pick the highest. So I get out of the way of the poison, but I've triggered another trap that I did not know was there. Am I reading this correctly, sir? All right. So according to 73, so I made my save against I made my athletics check against the noxious gas. Knowing the trap was there, I attempt to disarm it, and in this case, you just say I take double damage. All right. Then I will take the 8 points of damage, opening the door, choking on the noxious gas. I find stairs beyond. Heading down, I find one more door. This is very Tolkien-esque. There's always more door. And that's where we'll pause for today. So, first time trying to do this on stream. First time doing period. And I've got to say, I like the procedures. I like the ability to be able to sit down and play a little role-playing game at times where I don't actually have a group going. When I'm planning on taking this to my son's Taekwondo tonight and just sitting with a cup of coffee and playing a little Ker Nethalas each time that I go there. I have a second character. I'm glad it was fun, Padre. I hope this encourages you guys to go out and buy this this game. I did make a note that the poison gas is still in the room. I have a little write-up of every room that I've gone into and what's going on. And I think for at least the next couple of weeks, I'm going to take some time on Thursdays to stream my going through this first domain as we attempt to level up and attack the siren. But Alex's response kind of makes me sound like that's where our character is going to die. But first of all, thanks to Alex and everybody who worked on Ker Nethalas. Thanks to Ross for sending this to me and introducing this to me. I've always loved the idea of a solo role-playing game, and I have bounced hard off of the 3 I've tried. So this is awesome. I actually really enjoyed making the character. I enjoy all the tables. I enjoy the way this plays out. But I'm going to go try and kill that siren, hopefully in the next week or two, and we'll see what happens. Thanks to you guys for hanging out and doing a solo role-playing game as a group. I hope you guys enjoyed the Foundry setup for it. I thought that might add some interesting visual dynamic to it. If you're at all interested, the links to Ker Nethalas and to the Gravebound edition are on in the show notes. Please go check this out. This is an amazing game and a wonderful way to get some role-playing in when you're solo. Here's the thing. Even though this is a solo activity, which, as Tink pointed out, I'm doing it in the most JM way. Yeah, I'm going to play a solo role-playing game, but I'm going to do it with all of us. You can see how the story is evolving. I'm not adding a whole lot of spin to each room or description, but I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of the character. And that makes this beautiful, because this is something that is not just consumptive. It is something that is engaging your brain. It's engaging your imagination. You're having to write and take notes. You're taking maps or making maps as you're going on. It's good mental exercise. It's good creative exercise. And already I'm going, oh man, this would be amazing to turn this dungeon into something in my Castles and Crusades game or my Hyperborean game. John Dew says, I get to feel like we sit in a nearby chair and kind of watch you. Thanks, John Dew. Also, big thanks to Tink, who got me this. This was a journal that you brought to our Tuesday night games White Elephant gift, and I won this. And this is kind of the perfect journal for playing Ker Nethalas. And here's why. The first third of the journal is just a lined journal. The middle third is actually graph paper. And then the last third is it's all perforated, so you can take out half pages at a time and use it to mark things up. Or I won this. Well, I won? Yeah. So this has now become my Ker Nethalas game. I've got 3 characters that I'm currently I've got a stable of backup characters in case my first guy dies, and I'm looking forward to running more of this on the channel for the next couple of weeks. So that's it. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. Mark, the Codex of Masteries. Oh wait, which codex? The book of Masteries, or are you talking about Gravebound edition? Follow the link in the show notes, and you can get access, I think, to the most current version of the game. So yeah, actually, Mark. So Ker Nethalas and the Book of Masteries. Again, if you check in the show notes, we have Alex is putting out a new version of this game, and I cannot wait to see it and get it in my hands. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I'm JM. This has been Behind the Screen, and I will see all of you later. Till then, everybody, have a good one.